Hi, welcome back to our Let's Play of Fellsburn at, on FS19. As you can see, there's been some changes. I've ran this thing on for about 3 days, just kind of doing the whole rinse and repeat, selling crops. I did 2 loads of silage off of this field here. I changed some equipment around. I bought a corn head, and we're actually going to harvest corn this time. See how we do on it. And I got a plow, and you have to plow after corn anyway, so I extended this field. You know, I gave it another 30, probably 30% of what it would hold before. So I'm just got to get I'm gonna get the harvest started here. But yep, I felt like we were getting too much of the rinse and repeat, so I'm going to do the rinse and repeat stuff off camera and just bring you back for the changes, so you can really see how things have progressed around here. This is the first time harvesting this field since I've extended it. I'll show you where I extended it. It's pretty easy to see. I'm not too good with the plow and fairly sloppy. As you can see, this right here, from this point on towards our barn there, everything, all that's what I added. That's all what I added. So let's skip up here. With the addition on the field, I'm probably going to have to micromanage the help a little bit, which isn't bad for one field. I don't want to do it on all of them, but 1 or 2 fields isn't bad to have to run a little micromanagement on them. So that's why I just have to start this harvest off myself, and once I get him down here in a full head, and I think he'll figure out where to go. So we're going to find out real quick. Oh, let's hand it over to the worker. Alright, he's going. Alright, let's take you around. The old field stopped right about here, and we added all of this. Just enough room left out for our silage pit. I did another load of silage off of the corn, and then I sold my forager head and my forage harvester head, and got a plow and a corn head instead. I sold an entire load. We did an entire canola grow over here, and now we're back on soybeans again. I'm going to show you the financials real quick. This was the last episode when we bought the new tractor. This is when we bought the new tractor for this day on Tuesday, and we ran it on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. We had good harvest on Friday. We sold a bunch of silage and everything, so we had a good harvest Wednesday too. I think that was our canola day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and now we're on today, which I guess is Saturday. And we've run a lot of fertilizer and seed cost and fuel cost, and the wage payments aren't that bad. The fertilizer and the seed and everything else costs more than the labor does. Like I said, we sold our forage harvester, but we bought new new header, new plow. I was the plow, and then we bought the header and everything. So the corn header, and we also have a new trailer. We now have 2 trailers, which I have hooked up over here. So, is that guy? What happened? Okay, apparently thought he had finished when there's a whole field right here to do. We must have got a message when we were in the menu. Okay, let's try again. That's the only thing I don't like about tampering with the fields, is a lot of times it screws up your helper. Let's see if he can get it figured out this time, maybe. Maybe, just possibly. Looks like we're only going to need 1 trailer. We're getting our plow ready. Because with corn, even though we have the occasional plowing off, periodic plowing, with corn you have to plow all the time anyway. Let's see here. Drop our back trailer and just keep our front trailer. Doesn't appear we're going to go over 21 5,000 off this field? Yes, I don't think so. We might, but, well, we're not even 5,000 yet. No, we're not gonna do that much. But, you know, this field was fully fertilized, and okay, he's stuck. Why is he stuck? Son of a bitch. Alright. This is why I hate extending fields, but I knew I would have to do a little bit of management here with him. It can be a touch aggravating, but it is what it is. We need to cut him a header all the way around the field because we changed it from the base parameters. That way he can just works inside the field and it won't be a problem. Probably need to cut him a 2 wide header all the way around the field here, and then he can take over. It's like they were having a little bit of problem. You're going to see some gaps here and there from when they were sowing. The helper had a problem with sowing where I guess he had to cut it off and cut it back on or something. Looks like he got a little confused. You'll see some gaps here and there. Just small ones, you know, like one width, like right there. See, that's a, you know, one planter width, and then you cut it back on. I don't know. It's just hard to find good help, I reckon. If you want it done right, you just got to do it yourself. But there's always so much to do in this game. You have to use. Why am I missing? The header is clearly wide enough for that, but whatever. We'll have to come back and clean that up. But anyway, we'll get this header cut around here for him, and then I think he'll do okay. I don't know if he's getting caught up on the edge of the fields or what. Get out of the trees. Get out of the trees. There we go. If I ever get enough money and I buy that property, I am cutting down all those trees. I really need to cut down all those too. Those really don't get in the way as much. Ones on the other end there really get in my way. Get the pipe out on this thing. Go grab our grain trailer real quick, and then we'll try to finish cutting him a header. Do one more lap around, get him a 2 wide header all the way around the area of the new field, and we'll see how it goes. See how it goes. We should have at least one more full load on the harvester there, probably a full load in a bit, so we should be able to get it all into one trailer. You know, this is a really small field anyway. I'm glad I increased the size of it. And I may even want to increase the size a little more. Like I was looking at 18, I may want to increase 18 a little bit. There's plenty of room towards the road, 18 and 19 both towards the road. So, now that we have the plow, we might as well put it to, what am I doing? I'm going to finish this header off. Now that we have a plow, we can add to any field we would like, you know, any of our fields. So we can really maximize the land that we own. When you do that, it seems to give, I've seen a couple other videos where it seems to give the helpers a lot of trouble. So there'll just be parts of the field you'll have to come back and micromanage. You know, they won't have because it's not in their programming grid, or, you know, you have to come back and micromanage them a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. And I don't want to do it on every field, especially the biggest ones. I'm not sure. I want to get enough, by the next time I bring you back, because I'll do this same corn and 2 big field, whether they be canola or soybean. 2 big field harvests. I'm going to rinse and repeat this probably twice more. I think we can normally make, you know, 60,000 to 70,000 on it. So probably 2 more times, get well up in the 200s, and then we need to look at a piece of property. I'm thinking field 11, which is that really nice long field over there, to be our next one. Be our next big crop field. So, let's see. Now that I have him straightened out, I wonder if he'll be able to do it on his own. Now that I've got him a nice header here. So, let's see. Check and make sure that we don't have this. We're on keep it within the fields. Plowing is painfully slow, so there he goes again, having trouble. I don't understand why he's having trouble. I mean, there's nothing there. There's nothing blocking him. You know. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to do most of this harvest ourselves. That way we can stay ahead of our plow. Hopefully our plow doesn't have trouble. We can move that tractor out of the middle of the way. I do know that. Still hang on for a second. Get this guy out of the way. Go park him down here out of the way somewhere. Now I'm thinking it's just a bug why the helpers stop working like that. You know, hopefully it'll be something that's can be patched and will be patched up soon. Right about there should be. If he gets to the end, we'll kick him. See, he gets to the end there, it's like he's fighting something, but I don't understand it. When there's nothing there, I take over and I drive right through it like there's nothing. I don't quite understand what the problem is, but the helpers aren't great. Wonder how my plow guy is going to make along there. Seems like the smaller the implement, the better they do. I guess that has to do with the hitbox they're given for the turnarounds and whatnot. But hopefully he'll do pretty good on the plow. I may have to come back and straighten out a few areas here and there, but that's why I wanted to get the corn done first, because it does take much longer because you got to plow and then use our seeder cultivator concoction there. We got a power harrow on the front of our seeder or planter. Your corn requires the planter, not the seed drill. So look, I drive right to the end of the field with absolutely no problems. Don't understand why the help has that much trouble with it. So. Yeah, we're staying well ahead of the plow. That's what sucks about the plows. They require so much horsepower, you end up having to use very little, your tractors, especially here at the beginning of the game, are just so underpowered for them. You end up using a small one that has, a 2-meter working width or something, So, that's what's nice about the other crops is we can seed drill them and direct drill them, so we don't have to do that. Let's go ahead and get emptied out here. Seems to be working away just fine over there with the plow. But yet they had trouble with the harvester. I don't understand it. That's what makes me leery about expanding into these other fields, because I don't want to have to make it where I have to, babysit them the whole time. I need them to just be able to work. I guess you could do it all yourself. Man, at the time that would take. Some people do play that way. They enjoy the realism. I enjoy the simulation, but I still like it to be a game. I like seeing the growth and the money making and the instant reward for the time you put in, and that's the fun part to me. Not being super realistic. This is the first time I've done corn here on FS19. We did the silage a couple of times, but I'm wondering what kind of. I know it's usually a pretty low price, so it's got to be a high yield kind of crop. Because the silage, I was getting $8,000 a load, right at about $8,000 a load, and I'd get 4 loads out of this other field. With this field being so much larger, I would get more. So that's 30,000, 32. You could average it about 30,000, because the more you sell, the lower the price went. But even the second time was a little less. So I could say, a one cut on the silage, on making the silage, with about a $30,000 harvest. I don't know if this is going to be as lucrative. But it may get us through until we can get enough money to really have a good forage harvester. Because I really think that's what we're going to need, is a good forage harvester, and then we can really start cranking out the silage. I'd like a large field and put some bunkers next to it, or the thing is about the biogas plant, I don't know if they've changed it or not, but I saw a video where you have to buy the biogas plant for $141,000, buy the property before you can sell on it or use the bunks there, the silage bunks. So my hope is that I can, if we're going to do silage, we need to buy it and get a field next to it. But all the fields next to it are ridiculously expensive, along with a forage harvester for, you're looking at $500,000 to get into it before we start buying property. So I think we're a long way from there. There's lots of money to be made, because there's just the quantity of silage is so high. It's so high. You can skip down there and get that little bit that I missed when I cut the headland. See, the plow guy's doing fine right now. I guess because I'm watching him. Hopefully he won't have as much trouble as these other guys did. No corn left behind here. We need every bit of it to make money on this. We had all the stuff. The only difference for growing corn was, $14,000 on the plow, and then $45,000 on this header. So 45 or 48, I can't remember. Might have been 48. So we're in corn for about $60,000 without counting the planter and everything else. We already had that for doing silage. I think the silage paid for the power harrow and the planter, so plus a little bit. Oh, well, looks like that guy figured it out. He's gonna have trouble turning around though. Right up against the bunker. No, he figured it out. Look at there. Look at him go. Cut this thing off. Let's finish filling our cart up here. Go drop the corn header off and get our guy started on the soybean harvest over there, and we'll go sell the corn. See what kind of money we made off of our first corn harvest. Let's see who's got the best price for corn. The train station mill. Okay. It's actually a pretty close one, so I'll go with that. So we got less than 20. That trailer only holds 21,000, so we have less than 21,000 off of there. I know that is a relatively small field, so I can't go too much with it. That's why I'm thinking I may take the plow and try to extend it just a little bit more. It takes a while, but I think it may be worth it to get squeeze a little bit more production out of that field. And I feel like we could squeeze a lot more out of this one, but if using the plow breaks the helper on these large fields, I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. I don't want to have to micromanage all the fields. It's not so bad when there's just one or two, but you don't have to micromanage all of them. So let's head to the train station now. It's over here past the barn. It's the one on top of the hill we've been going to a lot. Now in soybeans, it should take, we should get about 30,000 liters out of everything if everything goes right. Yep, there goes another sign. And we could buy one of these smaller fields over here. Most likely, I mean, we could do it now. They're 120, 150,000. We should be able to do it on this this go round. So I'm not sure if the corn is profitable enough to even keep the header. May end up going back with the forage harvester and just going straight back to silage with it. You know, and I'm rotating the big fields between soybean and canola, trying to stay on the high cash crops. See how we do with our little bit of corn here. See how we do. $17,000. Price was pretty high. It was almost 1,000 that was 9 something per 1,000 liters. That was a pretty high price for corn. So at that rate, we would need we need 3 corn harvests just to get our money back out of the header we bought. So, I mean, I guess it's doable. It's not too bad to pay for the header, seeing as how we had everything else. Silage paid for everything else. I did make more off the silage, but it does take forever and a day with that small tractor-mounted forage harvester head, and the helper wouldn't work it very well either. So, I feel like to really do silage and really get going, you gotta have one of the big forage harvesters. I could lease one, but I don't think it'd be so hard to make the money off the lease. I think we'll be breaking even on the lease with a field this small. You know, if we use one of the large fields and did silage every day for it, it might be worth it, but I don't think that I don't think it would be good for us. So Did he stop again? No, he's on the second row. He's on the third row now. Okay. How's our plow guy doing? He's doing pretty well. Just moving along. So, well, alright. That's, I think that's where I'm going to call it for today. You know, thanks for stopping by and checking it out. You know, leave me a like or a comment and click the subscribe button. Alright? And we'll keep pumping them out. Like I say, I'm gonna run on, do the rinse and repeat here for a couple, 2 or 3 more days, and when it's time to acquire new land and see what we're gonna do, if I do any more expansions, I'll bring y'all back and let you take a look. All right, so y'all take care. We'll see y'all next time.